Let's get started on our backs as usual. You can find any comfortable position on your spine, but I'm going to offer up Supta Baddha Konasana with the soles of your feet together, knees butterflied. This might feel a little intense for your hips for the beginning of class, so if so, you can just have your legs long or in any other position that you prefer. And then place your hands wherever you like, on your belly, by your side. If you'd like some chest and shoulder opening, you can even bring your arms overhead or out wide. And then let your eyes fall heavy or closed. Give yourself a moment to settle. And just start to notice how your body's feeling today. In this moment. Allow yourself to fully let go of your day, your week, whatever you had going on before you came here. Just remind yourself that you have set aside this time just for you. So starting from your toes and working up to the crown of your head, you can check in with each muscle, each joint, noticing if you feel any extra tension, soreness, any sensations that you might like to just be aware of, focus on. You can also start to rock your head side to side, just loosening up through the back of your neck. Bring your head back to stillness. And then start to bring a little bit more attention and awareness to your breath. Maybe you find longer breaths in through the nose, filling up through your belly, your chest, your throat. And then more controlled exhales. Just slowing it down a bit. Breathe in. And out. Now, if you did butterfly your legs, take your hands down to the outsides of your thighs and gently close your knees together. And then everybody kick your heels forward towards the top of your mat. Drag your arms up overhead. Come into a full body stretch. On your inhale, arch into your back. Lift your rib cage towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, bend your knees, hug them in, take your hands to your shins and gently rock side to side. Perfect. Now keep your knees bent, but release your thighs and stack your knees right over your hips. And then place a 90-degree bend in your knees so that your ankles are just up in line with the knees. So flex your toes back at your face. And then take your arms out into a T shape, pressing your palms down into the floor. Then tuck your tailbone a little so you take away that space from between your lower back and the floor. Take a breath here where you are. And then as you exhale, take your knees over to the right as close as you can to the floor without them actually touching. So find a little hovering point that feels good for you and just pause there. Enjoy the stretch. Keep both shoulder blades planted on the floor. Now without swinging or momentum, use your core muscles to inhale and drag your knees back over your hips where you started, nice and slow. And then exhale, take them over to the left now. Again, as close as you can to the floor without actually touching. So find a little hover and pause. And just twist. Inhale, drag the knees back up over the hips. Notice if your feet drop towards your booty. If so, find that 90-degree shape again. We're gonna do this one more time on each side. And then as you exhale, take the knees over to the right again. Find your little hover, pause. Inhale, bring your knees back up over your hips. And exhale, take them over to the left. Again, find your little hover and pause. Inhale, bring the knees back over the hips. And exhale, plant the soles of your feet by your hips. Press into your heels. Lift your hips about an inch away from the mat. And again, tuck the tailbone and bring your whole spine onto the mat again. And then just hover your right foot about an inch away from where it is on the mat. And then thread your right foot underneath your left leg. Then relax the whole right leg to the mat. You should feel a stretch through the front of the right hip. You can place your hands wherever you'd like here, whatever feels comfortable for you. But just allow gravity to stretch you here, not forcing anything. Take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, replant your right foot down on the mat. We'll do the same thing on the left side. So just hover your left foot, thread the left foot underneath the right leg, and then relax the whole left leg towards the mat. Notice if there's anywhere you're tensing or clenching that you don't need to right now. Then take one more breath. As you exhale, replant your left foot down on the mat. Allow your knees to come over to the right side. Just flop over and come into a fetal pose on your right side. Extend your right arm out towards the side wall. Palm faces the ceiling so that your arm is about perpendicular to your mat here. And then take your left arm and lay it directly on top of the right. Inhale, open the left arm out to a T, nice and wide. See if you can get your left shoulder blade to the mat, but if it doesn't quite reach, that's okay. If you want a deeper twist, you can hug your knees up towards you a little more. Inhale. Exhale, take the left hand to the right, back to where you started. Inhale, open the left arm out to a T, nice and wide. And then exhale, take the left hand back to the right. One more time. Inhale, open up the left arm. And exhale, left hand to the right. Now, before we flip to the other side, press yourself up onto your right forearm. Stack your shoulder over your elbow. And keep your knees bent. Then, take the top ankle, which should be the left ankle, and cross it over the bottom thigh. Take your left hand to the inside of your left thigh, and then start to push your left knee away from you towards the front of the room. If you can straighten out your elbow, you can use that leverage to start to twist and rotate your upper torso down to face the mat. Keep your hand where it is on your thigh, but on your inhale, just soften into your elbow and start to turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, press on your thigh, twist and rotate towards the mat again. One more time. Inhale, soften the elbow, lift the gaze. Exhale, press and twist. Perfect. Take your hand away from your thigh, uncross your figure four legs, and flip over onto your left side now, first in a fetal pose. We'll extend the left arm out towards the side while palm faces the ceiling. And again, for a deeper twist, you can bend your knees up towards you a little bit more. Right hand lays directly on top of the left. Inhale, open the right arm out to a T, nice and wide. Getting your right shoulder blade as close to the floor as you can here. Breathe in. Exhale, take the right hand back to the left where you started. Inhale, open the right arm up nice and wide. And exhale, right hand to the left. One more time. Inhale, open the right arm out nice and wide. And exhale, right hand comes to the left. So now staying on the left side, we'll just press ourselves up onto the left forearm, shoulder stacked over the elbow. Top ankle, which is now the right ankle, will figure 4 over the bottom thigh. Take your right hand to your inner thigh, press your knee away from you, and maybe twist and rotate to face the mat. On your inhale, just soften into the elbow, lift your gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, press and rotate your torso towards the mat. One more time. Inhale, soften the elbow, lift the gaze. And exhale, press and twist. Perfect. Take your hand away from your thigh, uncross your figure 4 legs, and just come up to a comfortable seat, either with your ankles crossed or just one placed in front of the other. Sit up nice and tall. And then take your right hand just off to the side, wherever it feels comfortable. Your left palm comes just above the right ear. And then staying nice and tall through the crown of, or through your chest rather, take your left ear towards your left shoulder. Now you can stay still if you would like to, but you can also start to move your right shoulder, maybe up and down, back and forth. Any direction that feels nice for your neck, for your shoulder. And then start to take your right hand to your lower back. Take a breath here. Exhale, crawl your left fingertips to the back right corner of your skull. Hook your fingertips on that little ridge where it meets your neck, and then angle your chin slightly down. Release, sit up. Take your left hand off to the side now. Right hand comes just above the left ear. Draw your right ear towards your shoulder, gently, not forcing anything. And then you can start to find some movement through your left shoulder this time, or your arm, really in any direction that just feels good for you in this moment. Just exploring the space. Start to take your left hand to your lower back. Inhale where you are. Exhale, crawl your fingertips to the back left corner of your skull now. Find that little ridge and then angle your head a little down. Keep relaxing your knees towards the mat. And then release, sit up, take your hands onto your lap, and just roll your shoulders up and back a few times. Nice big circles. And then just a couple head and neck circles in each direction. Bring your head back up to center and make your way onto your hands and knees in tabletop pose. Stack your shoulders right over your wrists and your hips right over your knees. Point your toes straight back. Spread your fingers wide. Inhale, cow pose. Arch into your back, lift your head, really flare your rib cage towards the mat. You want to feel a nice stretch through the front of the abdominals. And then exhale, cat pose, tuck and round. Peel shoulder blades away from one another as you tuck your chin towards your chest. Inhale, cow pose. Drop your belly, lift your head. And exhale, cat pose. Push and round. One more time through. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale back to your neutral spine. Extend your right leg towards the right side of the room. Bring your ankle right in line with your hip, and then turn your toes forward. Flex your foot so that the pinky toe edge of your foot comes away from the floor. And then just start to shift some weight back and forth. As little or as much as you can. Maybe your hip comes all the way back towards your left heel. You can even turn your toes up towards the ceiling if that feels good. As you come forward, maybe your shoulders can even come past your wrists a little. Breathe with your movements. And then come to stack your shoulders back over your wrists. Now we're gonna come to thread the needle pose. This will be a more intense version of it if you keep your leg extended. So if you would like, you can just come back to your tabletop pose first and place your right knee beside your left. But either way, everyone's gonna take the left arm and thread it underneath the right arm, come to the left cheek. Option to reach your right arm forward. And if it feels accessible to you, maybe your left hand reaches up and catches the outside of your leg. One more long breath where you are. As you exhale, just slowly make your way back to your tabletop pose. You can give the hips a little wiggle, maybe take a couple cat-cows just to reset. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So extend your left leg to the left side of the room. Flex your foot, toes face forward, and then start to find some movement. Start to come back to shoulders over wrists. We'll come to our thread the needle pose. Again, if you'd like to place the left knee beside the right, that will be a less intense twist. But either way, right arm's gonna thread underneath the left arm, and then right cheek comes to the mat. Left arm can reach forward towards the top of your mat. And if it feels accessible, maybe the right hand comes up and grabs the outside of your leg. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly unwind and press yourself back up to tabletop pose just for a moment. Make your way to child's pose, widen your knees, bring your big toes together. Shift your hips back towards your heels and then rest your forehead on something, so either the mat or a block if you have it. And close your eyes. Notice your belly expanding between your thighs as you breathe in. Notice your body becoming heavier and softer as you breathe out. On your next breath in, really start to press into your fingertips and peel your elbows away from the floor. As you exhale, walk your hands over to the right. Place the left hand on top. Option to take your right hand to your lower back here. On your next inhale, slowly walk your hands back to the center of your mat to reset. And now as you exhale, walk them over to the left, placing the right hand on top. And then if you did on the other side, left hand, you can find your lower back. Inhale, walk your hands back to the center of your mat. And then as you exhale, walk your hands back towards you. Take a seat on your heels, or if that is not comfortable for you, you can sit on a block. Maybe 2 blocks if you have it. Bring your knees a little closer together. Inhale, reach your arms nice and high. Exhale, bring your palms together to touch. Interlace your fingers together. And then cradle the back of your head and neck, right where they meet. Then press your elbows out really wide, way out of your peripheral vision. On your next breath in, start to lift your gaze and lift your chest, coming into a little back bend or a deeper one if it feels good for you. Exhale, start to tuck your elbows in towards one another, round through your upper back. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Option to take your elbows to your knees. Slowly roll all the way back up. Open up the elbows. Inhale, come into your back bend again. Lean back, lift the gaze, lift the chest. Exhale, round and curl. One more time. Inhale, open up the elbows, lift the gaze, come into your back bend. And exhale, round and curl. Slowly roll all the way back up. Release your hands, circle the wrists a couple times. All right, so plant your hands right beside your knees. Walk your hands forward, come to your tabletop pose. Inhale, curl your toes under. Exhale, first downward facing dog, lift the hips. Start to pedal your heels around, shift your weight side to side, maybe shake your head. Find any kind of movement that feels good here. If you want to stretch through the top of your foot, you can even flip to the pedicure side of one foot and pedal that knee a couple times. And then just switch feet. All right, find some stillness here. Take a big breath in. Let it out. Inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, walk or step all the way up to the top of your mat. Take your feet about as wide as the mat. Toes face forward. And then soften your knees, let your head drop. Grab opposite elbows and sway a little. Release your fingertips to the mat and walk your hands over to frame your right foot. Bend your right knee and round and curl your nose to your knee. Release. Walk your hands over to frame. The left foot, same thing, bend the left knee, round and curl. Walk your hands back to center. And then turn your heels in, toes out. You might have to adjust the spacing of your feet depending on your anatomy. But sit down in your froggy squat. So if your heels lift, you can either sit on a block or bring your feet wider. And then bring your hands to heart center. Lift your chest. Let your hips adjust for a second. Maybe shift a little weight side to side if you want to. Come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, just take your right hand off to the side. Inhale, reach the left arm high. Look up at your hand. Take a couple wrist circles. And then on an exhale, take your left hand down and off to the side. Inhale, reach the right arm high. Gaze up, take your wrist circles. Perfect. Release. One more time. Take your right hand off to the side, keeping your arm on the inside of your thigh. Inhale, reach the left arm high. Now, if you would like, if you feel like it's accessible to you, you can find a little bind, wrapping your arm around your leg and clasping your hands behind your back. And then release. Take your left hand off to the side. Inhale, reach the right arm high. And again, maybe you're able to clasp your hands behind your back, keeping your arm on the inside of your leg. Perfect. Release. Take your fingertips to the mat in front of you. Inhale, lift your hips, turn your toes forward, and then just shift your hips side to side a few times. When you're ready, plant your palms, and then just walk your feet back, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, reach your right leg high, kick it towards the back wall. Exhale, take a big giant step to the outside of your right hand. If it doesn't make it in one step, just grab your ankle, help your foot forward, wiggle your left foot back to lower your hips, and then come to the left knee and tuck your left toes. You can stay here on your palms, you can come to your forearms, or you can have blocks underneath your hands if you have them. But we'll stay here in lizard pose for a few breaths. Feel free to explore the space, find some movement, shift your weight around. Feel free to stay exactly where you are, but if you would like a hip opener here, take your right hand to the top of your right thigh, roll to the pinky toe edge of your right foot, and then maybe you bend your back knee and grab your foot. Carefully release your foot if you have it. Rotate to face forward again. Now, I know not everybody has a block, but you might want one for this. Place it right on the inside of your right foot. If you don't have it, just do your best, that's okay. You're gonna shift your weight into your left hand, and then inhale, find a low lunge twist. Reach your right arm high, open up through the chest. Now, as you exhale, bend your right elbow and tap down either to the floor or your block. Feel free to adjust the height of the block depending on you. Inhale, low lunge twist. Reach the right arm high. Exhale, bend your elbow, tap. One more time. Inhale, low lunge twist. Exhale, bend and tap. Perfect. Place your block off to the side. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, curl your back toes under. Squeeze up off your back knee. Exhale, step the right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, take a big step to the outside of your left hand. Slide the right foot back, lower the hips, come all the way down to the right knee and tuck the right toes. And then just settle in whatever version of lizard you took on the right. Option to take your left hand to the top of your thigh. And again, open up the left hip, gazing slightly off to the left. Maybe you bend your back knee and grab your foot. Slowly rotate forward again. Replant your palms, and if you used a block on the other side, you'll now place it on the inside of your left foot. Shift your weight into your right hand. Inhale, low lunge twists. Reach the left arm high, open up the chest. Exhale, bend your elbow, tap it down to whatever you can reach. Inhale, low lunge twist. Exhale, bend the elbow, tap. One more time, inhale, twist and reach. Exhale, bend and tap. Perfect. Place the block off to the side. Come to both hands again. Inhale, curl your back toes under. Squeeze up off your back knee, step it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg high. Exhale, half pigeon right side. Bend the right knee. Take it out towards the right side of your mat by your wrist. Slide the left leg down and back to bring more space between your thighs first. And then if you'd like to fold, you can. Just make sure your weight is even between both legs. If you lowered, come back up to your palms. Slowly shift your weight over to the right thigh, and then bend your left knee until it meets your foot. Face forward, and fold over your right leg one more time. See if you can connect your forehead with something. Inhale, press yourself back up to a seat. So we're gonna do a real quick hip mobility drill, and you can use your hands for this drill if you need to. That's okay. You can also use blocks under your hands if you need to, that's fine. Ultimately, the goal is to not use your hands, but if you've never done this before, it might feel a little tricky. Just keep in mind your legs are gonna stay in this shape the whole time. We are just gonna pivot the positioning of our knees. You'll see what I mean in a second. So from here, we're just gonna pop up onto the knees and shins and squeeze the hips forward. Again, use your hands or not. Then with control, you're gonna slowly bring the hips back down. Then we're gonna start to turn the knees up to face the ceiling. So plant the soles of your feet, pause here. Then turn the knees to face the back wall. Legs are in the exact same position, we're just facing the back wall now. Then pop up onto the knees and shins, push the hips forward. Slowly bring the hips back down. Knees turn up, face the front of the room, and pop up. Nice. One more time, bring the hips down. Knees turn up, face the back wall, and pop up. Nice. Hips come down, knees turn up, face the front, and then if you want one more time, you can pop up. Nice. All right, we all got it. All right, bring the hips down, and then just kick your left leg forward and bring your right foot to your inner thigh or calf. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips and just grab for your foot, your ankle, your calf, whatever you can hold on to. Inhale, roll up to a seat. Grab hold of your right leg and cross your right foot over your left thigh. Take a twist to the right first. And then counter twist other direction. Perfect. Face forward again. We're going to uncross the right foot, but then just plant it right by your hip. Take your hands to your right shin, sit up really tall, flex your left foot, and just see if you can pulse the left foot up a few times with control. Just a little lift, little lift, little lift. Nice. Bring it down, bend both knees, swing your feet over to one side, come to tabletop pose. And then down dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, half pigeon, left side. Bend the left knee, take it off to the side of your mat by your wrist. Slide the right leg down and back, untuck the right toes. And if you want, fold. If you folded, come all the way back up. Shift your weight over to the left thigh. And now bend your right knee, bring it up to your foot. And then just face forward, fold over your left leg one more time. Make this a relaxing posture, so rest your head somewhere. Inhale, come up to a seat. Now this time, we're just gonna pivot to face the right side of the room and come into a seated wide-legged fold. So personally, I like to scooch my butt onto the floor so that my heels have the padding of my mat, but you can do it however you want to do it. You're gonna extend your legs to either side as wide as you can. If you feel like you're rounding a lot through the spine, you're not able to sit up with a flat back, you might wanna elevate the hips a little, either with a block or a pillow or a folded blanket. But then everybody's gonna take your hands behind you on the floor, hover your hips like an inch away from the mat, and then I want you to think cow pose. Push your ribs forward and then tilt your hips forward and down, and then bring your hips back to the mat. So we wanna try to mostly maintain this shape through the spine. So if you need to keep your hands where they are to maintain that, that's fine. Some of you might be able to take your hands to the floor in front of you and still maintain that shape. Some of you might like to take a block underneath your hands. Some of you might be more flexible than me. You might be able to fold forward. I can't. Eventually, you might be able to place your chest on the ground. Maybe one day. But try to keep your legs active, so keep flexing the feet. Yeah. And as long as you feel the stretch through your inner thighs and groin, you are doing it right. So just keep that in mind. That's where we want to feel it. If you want to find some movement, you can gently sway a little. If you folded, start to sit all the way back up. So we're gonna keep our legs fairly wide, but take your hands behind you and then bend your knees. So feet are still pretty wide here. We're just gonna windshield wiper the knees slowly. Try to get your knees as close to the ground as you can as you do that. What's that?
Exactly. That's what they show you on the.
Yeah, you can do it without your hands. You can do it however you want. This is your class.
Focus thing.
And then we're just gonna face forward and extend the right leg forward. Left foot's gonna come to the inner thigh or calf. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold towards your leg. Inhale, roll up to a seat. Grab your left leg and cross your left foot over your right thigh. First, take a twist to the left. And then counter twist other way. And then sit up. We're gonna uncross our foot, but plant it right by your hip. Take your hands to your left shin, sit up tall, flex your right foot, and we're just gonna pulse the right leg with control. Bring it down. You might need to scooch down just a little, but make your way onto your back. Once you are on your back, bend your knees and plant your feet close to your hips. Take your arms alongside your torso with your palms on the mat. Keep your gaze straight up at the ceiling to keep your neck neutral. Then, engaging your glutes, pressing into your heels, inhale, lift your hips for bridge pose. Option to interlace your hands behind your back and wedge your shoulders underneath you. Soften your toes. Lift your hips higher, bringing your chest closer to your chin. Inhale. Exhale, very slowly roll your spine to the mat. And then knock your knees together. Take your feet wide. Place your hands on your belly. Close your eyes. And just rest for a moment. Bring your feet about hip width distance again. And then press into your feet to bump your hips a little over to the right side of your mat. Cross the right leg over the left leg. Take your arms out wide. And then let your knees fall to the left, gaze to the right. Inhale, draw your legs back to center, uncross them. And now bump your hips a little over to the left. Cross your left leg over the right leg. Let your knees fall to the right. Gaze in the opposite direction. Inhale, draw your legs back to center, recenter your hips. And then bring your knees in, find full happy baby, reach through and catch either the pinky toe edges of your feet or the backs of your thighs. And then bring your thighs nice and wide alongside your torso. Maybe rock. Or you can straighten one knee and then the other. And then release your legs or your feet and hug your knees back in. Wrap your arms around your shins and start to draw your nose up towards your knees, curling yourself into a tiny little ball. Flex every muscle here. Take a breath. And then as you exhale, release and come into your final resting pose. Find a comfortable position for yourself. Or maybe grab something to place over your eyes if you have it. Allow your body to settle on your mat here and become soft, heavy. Notice your breath, whether it's deep or shallow. Notice the temperature of the air in the room. Just remind yourself that for the next few minutes, you have nowhere else to be. Allow this time to fully absorb your practice. And I'll call you out when it's time. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Start to bring some awareness back to your body slowly. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Rock your head side to side. When you're ready, take your arms overhead. Come into a full body stretch. And then on an exhale, bend your knees and roll to one side in a fetal pose, using your arm as a pillow. Allow yourself just a moment here to notice all the differences you feel compared to when you first stepped into the room, not just in your body, but also your headspace. And then with your eyes heavy or closed, press yourself to a comfortable seat. Sit up tall. Bring your hands to heart center. Bow your head down at your heart. Thank yourself for making it here, for allowing yourself all this time out of your day just for you. And thank your body for being strong enough to carry you through this practice. And then just lift your head and bring your thumbs to third eye center, the space between your eyebrows. The light, the teacher, the student in me honors and loves the light, the student, the teacher, and all of you. Thank you so much.